Do you want to take control of your financial future but don't know where to start? Noble Gold Investments understands. Investing in precious metals may sound confusing, but the team at Noble Gold Investments makes it easy. Let's hear from actual Noble Gold Investment customers. The staff answered all my questions and helped me every step of the way. No pressure sales tactics, just honest guidance. Securing my future is less stressful thanks to Noble Gold expertise. So don't settle for financial uncertainty. They'll suggest options and see if you can diversify into gold and silver. Right now, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful bullion coin for qualified accounts. Don't settle for financial uncertainty. Noble Gold Investments has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. Why wait? Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. noblegoldinvestments.com. The gold company I trust.
Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, it's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being with us for this inspired live stream. You know how this works. Before we start anything else, we are healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. Please let us know where you're tuning in from in the live chat. It's currently not working on my end, but I hope it will. There you go. From South Carolina, Jay Frotch, good to see you. This has been the mantra. We're healthy, wealthy, whole, and free for a very long time. And I want to welcome the new viewers because they all, we always beautifully expand this tribe, this family. And before we go into this live stream, for those of you who are kind of new to what we do here or how we do it is, there is really no sensationalism here. What we talk about is basically the changes on the grand scheme that are a result of the changes in our inner worlds. And this is really what this is all about. So today, I want to, because this has been coming up and with the subject of the previous live streams and videos, this seems to be fitting. What we're experiencing really as these conflicts and as the chaos kind of ramps up all around the world, everywhere, what we're really experiencing is the end of the world as we know it. Welcome everybody. Real Peace, Anna Marie, Andreas, good to see you, my friend. Andreas aus Berlin. Tony is here. Welcome. Sarah, Jenny, Stewart. So what do I mean by at the end of the world? First, I have to define something. The world as a term has been used interchangeably with Earth or prime reality, and it's not at all. The world is the human construct. All the structures, the financial, economical, all the societal structures, the sciences, all the things that humans invented over time, that is the world. The world consists of nations and consists of governments and consists of a legal apparatus, of courts and all that. When I'm speaking of the end of the world, I'm not speaking about Earth necessarily. I'm speaking about the end of these structures. And for some people, this might sound frightening. For me, it's a very beautiful prospect. And here's why. This world construct that we're all living in is built on one thing and one thing only. It's the glue that kept everything together for a certain time period, and that is the financial system, the monetary economic system. That's what everything is based on. In this world, for the vast majority of humans, all decisions are based around that. For the vast majority of governments on the surface, all decisions are based around that. Of course, that's just on the surface. But the monetary system is at its end. When you see conflicts erupting everywhere, that is a plan. That is what is planned, but it's also a natural result of economic breakdown. Now, this financial system, as we have it now, this debt-based fiat system in this installation has been around for about 110, 115 years now, which is now almost 15 to 20 years over its natural cycle. When it comes to the end of a cycle, in the last trimester at least, you see conflicts getting bigger and bigger, and especially you see eruptions in all fields of society, not just between nations. You see the ideological things changing quickly and swiftly. And why? In a debt-based monetary system like the one that we're in right now, it's debt-based, meaning all money Every whether it's digital or whether it's analog, meaning paper money or coins, all money is debt. It's all based on credit. So money can only come into existence by creating credit, by creating new debt. If somebody, whether that's a government, a bank, a corporation, or you take out a loan, new money is created in form of a debt, a thing that you owe plus interest. Now, the interest, that's the interesting part. The interest is never created in the creation of that money, which means there's never enough money to pay off the interest ever and pay off the debt ever, because there's not enough in circulation to do that. The interest is what all these wars are basically over, if you will. And where interest reaches an exponential point, the longer it compounds, compound interest, the steeper the curve gets. We're at the end. We're at the steep section where no government and most corporations could never satisfy their debt. And now they have a hard time satisfying their interest payments. So this is, economically speaking, why this system is coming to an end. It's how it was designed to be, by the way. It had certain functions over the last 115 years and longer, but especially over the last 115, 20 years. Now these functions are fulfilled. Now they're destroying this old system. But they think they're destroying this old system. They think they're in control. When I say they, is these misguided, dark, soulless entities that are projecting their version of reality from their own sphere. What is really breaking up this world and what is really creating the end of the world as we know it is you and I. It's all of us. We are transforming ourselves, which is the most important piece, because we are the energy source that is keeping all this up anyways. On so many levels, we are transforming ourselves. So this world is crumbling down. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because it can create a lot of fear, because it's, after all, the only world you've ever known in this lifetime. And some things are a comfort. Some things are a structure that gives us a sense of security, even though it is a false sense of security. It is our intention and my intention to help empower us, empower all of us to the point where we do not rely on these structures anymore, and we're not afraid of seeing them coming down, which I think is what is happening all around us. There is this idea that all nations are going to cease to exist very soon in the form they're now, and they're going to be replaced kind of like in the Hunger Games, if you've ever read the books or seen the series, which is an old concept, by the way, where you're just going to have zones all over the world that are going to be created, that are going to be governed by an AI central government. And the population at large, the remaining population, will be kept in their zone and will be robbed of most of their current freedoms, and will basically be in a perpetual state of, trying to stay alive, while the ruling class, the sovereign class, if you will lead a very different life. This is their dystopian version. This is not happening. It's not happening on a large scale at any rate. But what I think is most important for us is to be so honest that we can look at these developments all over the world and look at them in a fearless way, and know that we are ultimately created by an all-knowing, supreme energy and being, God the Creator, and that we have that spark within us. And this is through these times, this is going to be the most important message that everyone can hear. Finally remembering who we really are, who we were created by, and what we are here for. And I think we're here to recognize that on all levels and overcome the fear of the unknown, overcome the fear of the want to be rulers, because that's all they are. They only thrive on our belief in them and in their power. As I've said many times before, people wrongfully believe that it is negative for the rulers when we talk about their power or how organized they are. They want this. They're not. That's good for them. because as long as people fear them, for whatever reason, they still get what they want. As long as we believe these entities, these structures, these secret groups and societies have power, we will fear them, and we will acquiesce to them out of fear. Once we overcome the fear, we will actually, rather than just watch this world crumble down and be innocent bystanders, we will step into our true nature of being co-creators, which is what all of this is about. All of this is really about inner standing, not standing under something, but inner standing who we really are. Now, will the 3D reality project a very frightful picture? Yes, because we're programmed to fear structures crumbling down. We're programmed to fear when governments fail. We're programmed to fear when change is coming, right? So that's a program in and of itself, that when we see big changes, we fear, and then we look for leaders outside of us that can guide us through these situations. And there will be some very good leaders, don't get me wrong, but there will be more leaders in smaller groups and communities rather than this one omnipotent king-like leader. That's not going to do anything, and that's not going to help us in any significant way. It's the structure, and we are the structure. So if I imagine a world down the line 15, 20 years, and when I talk about this moment, I'm talking about decades. And we could go into what time it's, right? And why time feels the way it feels in our reality, but that's a whole different discussion. The moment that we're in is a decade-long moment. It just, as in our human life, because human life is now reduced to 80 years or so on average, we feel that decades is a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, decades is nothing. It's a blink of an eye. And in the scheme of history, it's a moment. I think the end of the world really, in this final stage of it, really began as projected by some indigenous peoples of the past and calendars. And I think if I look back at the last 10 years, there have been some major shifts that people never believed would happen. And I think for me, I will go as far as the year 2020, when something happened in a lot of countries. I know it certainly happened in the United States, which was a signal to me. In the year 2020, one thing that used to be impossible to move, there used to be the saying that two things are certain in life: death and taxes. Now, in the year 2020, the United States government, or the corporation, the Internal Revenue Service, they moved the tax deadline. I think they moved it 3 months or so. It's never happened before. It was a signal that the old system is changing and that it's no longer set in stone. That's what the signal was. For me, anyways, I saw this, I read it, and I remember thinking clearly, oh, this is the beginning of the final phase of this breakdown. And so this is what we have been seeing. As a matter of fact, if you could go back to the perception of 10 years ago in your mind, if you could go to a self that is 10 years younger, and you would observe from the year 2013 what is happening in the year 2023, you would be so blown away by the language, by the subjects that are out in the open, by the conflicts, by the discourse on what's happening on TV and whatnot. You would be so shocked, because we have come so far in this, things that people never believed possible. So I view this as a very, very necessary and positive time. And what we now need to do is remove our constant attention from these theaters and scenarios that are simply there to frighten us. If you are in a position to do something positive about it, by all means do it. If you are in a position to contribute positively to any situation, do it. But if you're not, do not waste too much of your attention on these things. That is your most valuable currency, attention. Your attention in this reality here has a limit because there is the concept of time. So when you have 24 hours in a day, you have to become conscious of what you put your attention to. What are you watching? Who are you listening to? What are you reading? And mostly, what are you thinking about and how are you thinking? And this is where we get into the really important details. The inner work, if we understood the mechanism. So basically today, it's easy for you to understand that if you type something into your phone, or if you record something with your phone, if you do anything on your smartphone or on your computer, you consider this valuable work. So many of you do something that involves computers and screens, and you type stuff into those computers and onto those screens, and it changes stuff on those screens and in those computers, and in some way somebody benefits from it, and so you have contributed in a positive way, or you have brought value. That's not easy for us to grasp. I mean, that's not hard for us to grasp that that is happening. What is hard for us to grasp is that if we do the same with our inner computers, if we do the inner work, that it has a valuable effect for us and the society at large on the outside. This is a concept we have a very hard time grasping. Understanding that if we dedicate a certain amount of time to meditation and prayer and creative thought, most people are not thinking. They're just playing the movies, memories of the past, or horror scenarios of the future. But that's not thinking. That is simply regurgitating and replaying movies. Real thinking is a creative process. It is focused. It has a certain goal, if you will. It has a destination. It adds feelings to it, and colors and details and imagination. And through that, we do co-create beautiful things. Now, this is the real work. It's more important than the work on your phones, on your computers, than anything else, because it precedes everything. Everything that you see in the physical 3D simulated reality actually is preceded by thought, co-creative thought. So this is the most important work. The healing work. What do I mean by healing work? Whether it's physically, spiritually, and it's all connected. The trauma healing, the healing of our old wounds that keep us in perpetuated programs and keep us in a state of being reactive rather than proactive. This is the work of the next days, weeks, and months for those who see things clearly, because it sets us free. We're in bondage by our own traumas that were inflicted on purpose, so we stay in bondage. It's all a scenario, a game. And as this world is coming to an end, the world as we know it, doesn't mean that our experience is coming to an end. It doesn't mean that, actually, I believe it means that we're breaking through something that's kept us in a prison perception, in a prison of the mind. And as we break through that, we will see things that are so beautiful, and we will remember them as our true nature and our true home and our true reality. I really believe that. So as we're watching this fake world crumble down, we have to really focus on our inner work and become the best possible version of ourselves. In a recent interview that I did with Greg Braden, you can watch it on theinspiredchannel.com. He's a powerful spiritual warrior, Greg Braden. And that was also his message. He said, the most important thing that we can do for the creator, for ourselves, and for everyone around us is to become the best possible version of ourselves. I want you to know that we are more powerful than any leader out there, and that any leader out there can only get his or her power from us. That's how this works. So I'm not against having good leaders take certain responsibilities that we give them, run with them, and do something with them. I do believe there's value in that. As humans, we'll always have a structure, but become your own leader. Lead your family again. Become a shining light. This is the most important thing, friends. If we only could flip that switch in our heads and realize that it begins and ends with us, then all this suffering could be minimized, and it could all go way faster. This is going to be the message always. I have such faith and such knowing, because over the last especially 10 months, so many people have stepped into our lives that have already realized what I'm talking about. And their influence, their positive influence, and their co-creative power is so immense that they are literally changing reality around them, and they're changing reality at large. And this is what's been hidden from us. This is what this war is about. This is what these conflicts are about. You are never supposed to find out that you have a divine spark within you, and that's who you really are. Because when you do, you are literally saved. You're literally saved. And their game is over. That's all. So don't fear what is happening. Be smart. Honestly, we have all these levels of existence, from the spiritual, where it all begins, to the physical right now in a very dense reality. So if you feel inspired to stock up on some food, do it. If you feel inspired to make, preparations or take precautions with regards to finances, please do it. But most importantly, know this, that because you are a spirit having a human experience, you can co-create solutions at any time, in any situation, no matter what happens. This is the most important knowing. All right, friends. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us. We look very positively into these next months. I know we're going to witness suffering. I know that. At this point, that's a given, as we are. But I also know that the more of us really awaken, not just to the truths outside of us, not just to the conspiracies, they are all real, but the more of us that awaken to our own true spirit and what that means, the faster and the easier we get through this, and we co-create a beautiful new beginning. All right, my friends, thank you again. Much love, many blessings. We'll be back with you again very, very soon.